G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. Today we are having a look at Lubuntu 18.10 LXQT, codenamed Cosmic Cuttlefish. So I tried this a little while back, had trouble installing it. I also had trouble installing this one. However, once I changed to Legacy, I didn't have many problems. So if we have a look at the differences here, we have up on the top of the screen Legacy on the right and UEFI on the left. So just to demonstrate what I had going on here, they're both GPT partition table, and very much the structure of what I was trying to achieve there is the same. 512 megabyte boot file, a Linux swap, and the remaining used as the root partition. So not a lot of difference there. So now this is on the left UEFI, on the right Legacy. So at this point I haven't selected the disk of choice yet. There we go. Now it's Plextor, which is an SSD, 120 gig or 128 gig, I think it is. Yep. So you can see here that I have chosen that for the install. So you can actually tell in here it says EFI and GPT. So here it's BIOS and GPT. So on both I chose manual partitioning. I actually took the manual partitioning selection there. I didn't in this one. Okay, so the big difference you can see here is under UEFI you have nothing down the bottom here, but under Legacy you have the choice of which bootloader to install to. UEFI does not have that. So if I go to the next screenshot, oh, don't have that there. Okay, maybe my photos are a bit mixed up. Okay, so here you can see clearly I've chosen the bootloader of the Plextor, which is the root device, and under UEFI I had no choice at all. So I did under UEFI select made this boot file with boot EFI, which is what it was asking for, and then the rest of it, which is the SDB3, which was made as the mount point as root. So here I just made mount point under SDB3, same deal, but it by default came up with that one there. I'm not sure if I selected device SDB3, install Ubuntu on SDB3 yet, bootloader on SDB, which is the main part of the drive. So that's all good, and then everything else here pretty much the same. So unfortunately under UEFI we do not have that option down the bottom there where to choose the bootloader, which is the biggest problem there. Now under UEFI, if I go to the next one there, we have an error. So that's the error there that I was getting after install. So it goes to about, I think, 80% or something like that, and then it comes up with this error install here. So that was the problem I was having. Under Legacy it's no problem at all, so we're running quite well here. I like the theming they got going on here. There's really no need to change the theming here. And if we have a look at what we've got here, I'll just let you guys maybe pause the video, you can check those out. It's got that game there. Nomax as the image viewer. Falcon for your internet, which is a spin-off of Firefox, I believe. No, it's the QT version probably. full LibreOffice, ebook editor, Calibre or Calibre, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. That's I think ebook reader, I think. I've installed Etcher. You've got Audacious K3B, Pulse Audio, SM Player, MPV, which is lightweight and good, YouTube browser. Now you have the Muon Package Manager and the Discover. Muon Package Manager is it's the Qt version of the GNOME Synaptic Package Manager, I believe. So we'll have a look at those in a minute. Now you've got LXQT settings, and everything you find under here, you'll find in here under the one window. They're also available in this menu here. And you've got additional drivers and software updates and all that, screensaver, which I've turned off for now, and leave, and lock screen. So if we go to the settings, everything you need is there. Now I've taken down a few notes on here. The width of the task manager, down the bottom here you'll see the task manager is quite big. So if we was to go to a separate part here and configure, oh no, not that one, we need a spare part of the screen if we can find it, or the panel. Okay, so if I close this for a minute, right click on there, configure task manager, and you got here maximum width of button 400. So if we click on that and we type 200 and close that, and you can see now the task manager is a lot smaller. Now it'd be nice here to see the name of the file you got open instead of the path. I haven't been able to find a way of configuring that. You can use icons. You can have icon and text, icon only, only text. But it'd be nice to have the name of the file that's open rather than this full path. I think would be much better. So the appearance of icon themes. Now I've noticed if you have a look at the bottom here, these icons are dark. So if we go to the preferences and LXQT and appearance, under what was it, icon themes, and this one here, colorize icons based on widget style, I unchecked that and now the widgets are bright, as you can see. Nice. So that was out of the box. I don't know whether it just doesn't suit that theme or not, I'm not sure. And now the other thing was during video playback, the default with MPV player, open your volume control, navigate to playback tab. So if you left click on your sound icon and go to mixer, now when you're playing back something, I'll play back this one here and I'll just drop that down. If you go to playback, you'll only get this option here. This was by default using my microphone for the speaker, so I've selected this one here, but it's only there when you're playing back, and then I had sound. Otherwise before that I didn't have sound, so that was a little bit strange. So let me, I don't know if you can hear that video or not, so let me stop it. Okay, so I found that a little bit strange to actually select it in there, but if you're using the LXQT and you can't, might be different on other distros running LXQT, they might have sorted all that stuff out, but don't forget this is a daily driver, so I'm not criticizing anything because it is very early in development and it's still in very heavy development as well. So now the other thing is the menu super key opens with Alt F1 is the menu. We can change that in the settings. if we go to shortcut keys, double click to full screen it, and you can see here show hide menu. You can actually click on this and click on that, and you can just hit the super key, and now you've got super key opening the menu. We should have anyway. There we go. Nice. Now the other shortcut you have is, I think it's Alt and R, the letter R. Oh, that's not working anymore. Maybe that's why the shortcut key. Let me change that back and see if that works. That was Alt F1. Rightio, that's that. So if we use super and R, oh, okay, so that's why they've had Alt F1, because these shortcuts don't work. So if you type, so that is press escape to get rid of that. So we type super key and R, gives us the run command, and if we type something in there like appearance, and it all comes up in a search, or say Falcon web browser, there we go. Shortcut, keyboard shortcuts, you can arrow down if you want. The theme doesn't look that good, does it? It's themed out a bit there. Keyboard, there we go. And just click the X button to close it. And the open box settings as well. Open box settings here. Let's have a look. Move and resize. Update window contents while resizing. So if you're resizing a window, say for example, it'll be just black when you're resizing, but if you check this one, the window remains, it keeps the information on the window instead of blackening it out. So that's that there. So there's a few things that I've noticed on here. Now just getting back to programs that I have installed. I've done, let's see, view hidden. I've got in here .etcher, so I double clicked, I extracted that here, just made sure that it is permissions make the file executable, which it was by default. Double click that. It will ask you if you want to add a desktop file. Just click yes, and that adds that to the menu. Etcher, and it's good to see that if we do close that menu, it now resets the search. Before the same search would come up, now the search resets, which is quite nice. I like that. Etcher, okay, so Etcher's working. So in here, system tools, we have Discover. I'm just trying to think what I've installed here. I actually, what did I install? Be under probably internet, if anything. Zoom I have installed. Now Zoom, I would have downloaded Zoom. Let's have a look what I've done there. .zoom. Oh no, that's not that one. Zoom I did, yeah, actually I installed, I downloaded it. Where is it? Let me find it. Downloads. Downloads. Okay, so it's a .deb file. So what I had to do with the .deb file is I had to come into here and search for GDebi. Hit enter, and GDebi, I installed GDebi, and after that I had to right click and open with GDebi, or the other thing I did was go to properties. This was opening by default with Arc, so I changed it to GDebi. Okay, and then just double click and that starts running, as you can see, the package installer. Now there is some, you can set default programs, but there's not a lot of options for that, I've noticed. And I've got to remember where that was. Session settings, I think, and if we full screen that, default applications, we just got the 2 to be selected. So that one's got CupZilla. I don't know why I haven't seen CupZilla. Is that in here? Okay. Is that Falcon? Is it? Help about Falcon? QT. Maybe it still comes under CupZilla. I think was a file browser, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the default applications, there's not a lot to choose from. So we can close that one. So pretty much what I've been doing is, especially in my, let's unshow all the hidden files there. So in Pictures, I right click on that because Pictures were actually opening with, what were they opening with? They were opening with something else, I can't remember what it was, so I just right click and open with Nomax. I think it was Pictures. No, actually that might have been already set as default. Videos was the other one, Properties, and yeah, the videos, I don't think we're opening them MPV player. Actually can't remember that. That's alright, but just don't forget you can right click and change your properties and open with, and it should be the same for all on there. So we also have in the system tools the Muon package manager, and I did install something through here that I couldn't find. Ubuntu restricted extras, that's right. Now for some reason restricted add-ons, restricted extras, I installed that, and it's installed that one as a dependency, I would say. Now I did try and install that in the terminal, and if I arrow up, no arrow up here, that's interesting. I did sudo apt install Ubuntu restricted extras, and that didn't find anything. So now that's a first for me, because normally that just installs no problem. Now in Discover you might have, I haven't really done any research on that, but inside Discover, which is already open, there may be some settings where you can add some of these things here. That's probably, you may need to have, I'm not used to these type of packages, to be honest. I'm used to Synaptic and so forth. So if we go to settings, configure software sources, and they may not have the canonical stuff checked out, I would think. That's probably why it's not finding it. Okay, that's not opening anything, so I don't know what's going on there. We can install Flatpak backend, Snap backend, so we can install those two there. We've got some updates pending there as well. So let me go to additional driver settings. Yeah, there's normally the Ubuntu can't remember what it's called now. I did say it before. So they don't happen to be in there, I don't think so. But as long as we can find some platform to install the restricted extras, which the Muon package manager does quite well, that's fine. Cautious upgrade, full upgrade. Configure software sources. Yeah, well, I've tried that, didn't open, did it? Maybe it just takes a bit. We'll let that go for now, see if it does open anything at all. So you have some selections within here. Don't forget you're running OpenBox, so some of the selections will be within OpenBox. Parents, you got some some widget styles there, some icon themes already installed. Papyrus by default, which is nice. Don't have to change anything there, and you've got the LXQT themes there as well. So I'm quite happy with the Lubuntu Arc that they're running at the moment. It's quite nice. I don't really mess with fonts and cursors. Desktop selections. Now, desktop selections is the same as going to desktop preferences there, and if you want to change your wallpaper, you have to browse to your computer, and then you have to go, let me see. Yeah, it's very confusing. Go there, you got to go back to this location, user. So let's just do that again. Now it's opening. It could be confusing for new users for that situation there. User, share. Was it backgrounds? Yeah. No? What's it using? User share Lubuntu wallpapers. Okay. Share Lubuntu. Lubuntu wallpapers. That's a bit of a task to change your background, so I'd have to think that in future developments they're going to make that a much easier selection than trying to navigate through system files to change your wallpaper. It's not very user friendly at this point, but like I can't stress enough, it is a daily build, so it's not something that most people would be running at the moment. I'm just pointing out just some of the things that I can see. I'm not sure what the GLX OpenGL, you can change to that. And that's another thing I'll point out as well in System Tools, I think it is. No, it might be Accessories. Compton. So if you click on that, you'll be running Compton. And that it does work because it stopped my screen tearing, which is very handy, and it seemed to work pretty good. I've got screen tearing at the moment. Okay, you've got your shortcut keys, your keyboard and mouse, cursor, and so forth. So, file associations, I haven't really got into that, to be honest. Power management, you've got some options there for your power management as well. I think we've looked at Windows effects, brightness. Okay, not on a laptop anyway. I think we've looked at appearance. Yes, we have. Date and time. And speaking of date, I really like this calendar. This looks modern. I would like to see something like XFCE adapt something like this that just looks modern, and I like it. It's quite nice and goes well with the theme as well. You can add a printer, haven't tried that yet. Software updater and users and groups. So you can sort out groups in there as well. Update is still checking. And we have some updates. So, and down the bottom here you have some window switches there, and actually by default, if I go back into preferences, I think it was, could have been open box settings. Windows, or was it the other one, Windows Effects? It could have been this one. No, it wasn't that one, so it must be open box settings. Let's full screen that. Windows, move and resize. Okay, switch desktops when moving to the edge. That was on by default as well. So when that's checked, if you go to the screen edge, you start changing desktops and it'll scroll through them. I unchecked that one. And you got a little bit of tweaks there as well. So overall, this is running quite nicely at the moment, and you could probably use this, but you know, it's a daily driver. So I did use it on BigDaddyLinux Live yesterday and it ran well. Zoom worked well. I had no issues with sound, and yep, this thing's not opening anything. So but at the end of the day, I did manage to install Ubuntu restricted extras through the Muon package manager. So even though it didn't work inside the terminal, it did work with the Muon. I'm just a bit curious as to how we would add just cancel that for now. Just a bit curious as to how we add some of the right, a couple of bugs there. It's the first time that's come up actually, so must be looking at a few more different things. So so within the Synaptic package manager, normally if you're running that, you have the option just to check the canonical partners option for extras, but normally Ubuntu restricted extras normally is in any Ubuntu based distro just installs under the terminal. So as long as there's an option there, I suppose that's fine. So just a couple more things. If we wanted to add let's see, feather pad. So if we want to add something into the panel here, we just drag it down, see a little plus sign. If it doesn't go, it'll give you the little round circle saying no go, and just add it to there. And I think by default it ends up on the right hand side of all the other applications, and then you have shortcut there. If you want to remove it, just remove from quick launch, no problem. I haven't tried changing panels or configuring panels, but there's your panel configuration. You could put it on the left, alignment, panel, bottom of desktop, top, left, right. So you got all those options as well, so that's nice. You can change the background color and so forth, and widgets. Oh yeah, that was another thing. The quick launch, the show desktop, you can, some of these come up with the option of changing. So there's your settings there. So that so those buttons there weren't like that before, so that must have been that change that I made. which was where was it? I have to open my thing now because I can't remember. Just let me check that out. It was appearance icon themes, that's right. So appearance icon themes, and if I uncheck that, let's just see what happens to those buttons on there. So okay, so that's where you have an issue there, where these icons on the panel are darkened, but these ones are suitable. So there's a bit of a confliction there with the icon set in some of the window managers there. So I'll leave it at that so I can just show you this. So you got see, that's not highlighted, so you can't do nothing with that. The volume control you can. Removable media, you got an option. So yeah, that's under configure panel. So your widgets, you can change those. Application menu, you can make some changes to your menu as well. The button for shortcut, you can change it here, so you can reset that. Okay. So there's some options there on your right click there on the panel. So actually I might just change those icons back because I like to see the icons in the panel a bit better. So that was a quick look around at Lubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish. I won't be running this for long. I'll probably check it out again in the near future or in a couple of months or so and see how it's travelling, see what changes they've made. But it's quite impressive at the moment, because like a month or two ago I couldn't even get this running. And I did get it running at some point, and it was actually running quite okay. But there was a few issues within the desktop, the search and themes and all that. But now, things seem to be functioning a lot more stable at this point. So I can only imagine some of the changes they make in their heavy development could be quite nice and interesting to see. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed looking around Lubuntu 18.10 LXQT, and thank you for watching.